we are getting. Let's get this party started.
You're stronger than that.
I am. I wanted to do the 3, but it's gonna be. I don't want. There's the power. Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Kimberly Seipert, your worship leader for this morning's service, and this is Common Ground, our celebration of worship for people of many paths who gather to share in the responsible search for meaning and truth. This is a warm and open community where all who come with open minds and kind hearts are welcome, regardless of ability, age, race, gender identity, or sexual orientation. We hope all who join us today find this a safe place to worship. Now, please greet the people around you. You'll have an opportunity to greet everyone during our coffee hour. When you hear the bell, please remain standing for a moment of silence, followed by our gathering song. Please pause for a moment of silence after Glenn cleans up his water that we knew he was going to knock over. All right, please pause for a moment of silence. Now let's join Michael and the Come As You Are choir in our gathering song, You Got a Friend in Me.
Yeah, it's amazing they didn't drop it from here.
Will you, is it in your way? Are we going to hit it here?
I might. I do talk about it.
Okay, this is the fire of our faith. Join me in reciting these words by George Kimmich Beach as today's speaker, Glen lights our chalice flame. In the mystery of life about us, there is light. It gives us a place to be, to grow, to rejoice together. It opens the pathways to love. In this place of friendship, there is freedom. Let the light we kindle go before us, strong in hope, wide in goodwill, inviting the day to come. I invite you to join me in a renewal of our sacred promises. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest of truth is its sacrament, and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge and freedom, to serve human need, to the end that all souls shall grow in harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other. Please be seated, and as you are seated, please move toward the walls to make it easier for people still arriving to find seats. Also know you may enjoy the service remotely upstairs in the loft on large screen TV. Now, in place of our story for all ages, we have a special musical treat. Michael.
Government yard in Trench Town, observing all the hypocrites mingle with the good people there that we would meet. Good friends we had, good friends we've lost along the way. In this bright future, we can't forget the past. And that's why I say, no woman, no cry. No woman, no cry. Hey, little sister, don't shed no tears. No woman, no cry. And I remember the nights we used to spend in the government yard in Trench Town. And Georgie, he would light the fire low, and it would burn night. And then we'd make a cornmeal porridge, of which I share with you. My feet are my only carriage, and I've just got to push on through. And when I'm gone, I say, well, everything is gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be alright. Everything is gonna be alright. No, woman, no crying. No, woman, no crying. It's gonna be alright, people. Walk, Mrs. Trump. Hey, little sister, don't shed no tears. No, woman, no crying.
Thanks, guys. All right, they really got it warm in here. Is there any way we can turn off the heat? Anyone who has that power, can we turn off the heat?
It's the flame.
The flame of live music. All right, in religious education today, the children will begin working on the November theme, What Does It Mean to Be a People of Attention? They will work on the skill and practice of focusing attention inside of themselves. The session goal will be to learn something about ourselves by learning prayer. Next week, the children will focus on how we pay attention to what other people need. The goal will be to understand that each of us can pay attention to how we can help others. Today, the youth will prepare for the performance of their skit, Startle. Next week, they will practice the skit for the last time before the performance on November 17th. Also, note parents and teacher volunteers are asked to attend 2 meetings today. The parent portion of the meeting will be after adult discussion groups at 12:40, ending at 1. The teacher volunteer portion will start at 1 and end around 1:45. Now, once again, please stand in body or spirit and join Michael and the Come As You Are choir in our worship song, We're Gonna Be Friends.
Can we put one of these on that music stand? I'll put that on the music stand. Here, never mind. One, two, 1, 2, 3. Fall is here, we hear the yell. Back to school and ring the brand new shoes, walking blues, climb the fence, books and pens. I can tell that we are gonna be friends. I can tell that we are gonna be friends. Walk with me, Susie Lee, through the park, by the tree. We'll rest upon the ground and look at all the bugs we found. Safely walk to school without a sound. Safely walk to school without a sound. There we are, there's no one else. We walk to school all by ourselves. There's dirt upon our uniforms from chasing all the ants and worms. We clean up and now it's time to learn. We clean up and now it's time to learn. Numbers, letters, film to spell, guns and books and show and tell. Playtime we will throw the ball, black in class and through the hall. Teacher marks our height against the wall. Teacher marks our height against the wall. We don't notice any time pass. We don't notice anything. We sit side by side in every class. Thinks that I sound funny, but she thinks the way you sing. Tonight I'll dream while in my bed, when silly thoughts go through my head. about the bugs in alphabet. And when I wake tomorrow, I'll bet that you and I will walk together again. I can tell that we are gonna be friends.
At this time, children are invited to take part in religious education. Let us send them out with these words. We pass this flame of religious freedom from generation to generation. Our call to worship today is a poem by Maya Angelou called Late October. Actually, I think you guys can have a seat, right? You're looking a little uncomfortable out there. Yeah, that's better. All right. Carefully the leaves of autumn sprinkle down the tinny sound of little dyings, and skies, sated of ruddy sunsets, of roseate dawns, whirl ceaselessly in cobweb grays, and turn to black for comfort. Only lovers see the fall a signal end to endings, a gruffish gesture alerting those who will not be alarmed that we begin to stop in order simply to begin again. Our speaker this morning is our own Glen Weber. Glen was born and raised in Rockaway Beach, New York. Glen and his family have also lived in Connecticut and Chicago before settling in Grapevine in 2004. He and his wife Danny started attending Pathways in 2005, and since then he has been in the church, teaching RE, spilling water, serving as worship leader, speaker, and greeter.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Glen is a career-long sales and marketing person, most of which has been in the airline and travel business. He loves playing blues harmonica, writing songs and poetry, and cracking jokes continuously. He's an animal lover and a huge Yankee fan. Now welcome, Glen.
Thank you. All right. So we're going to do things a little differently.
Well, I'm messing way downtown. Must be got back late.
fun. I don't know what to do now. Okay. There we go. Who's a picture of my dog? I had to redo it? Nah, it's okay. There he is. That was, but I didn't see. That's my boy Rambo. I'm talking about extended family. Well, just got him. He's part kangaroo, as you can see. He's Chewini. I love dogs. I think every time I get up here, I talk about dogs. Can't help it, especially when you got a new addition in the family. Let's see. I have talked about this before, the extended family. I don't know if anyone remembers it, if anyone was awake for it, but last time I talked about it, really, the whole idea is that everybody is potentially family. Not just here at Pathways, although look what happened. We feel like a family here, don't we? We feel like one big happy family, just like, you got nuclear family, then you got cousins, uncles, people that we just adopt along the way. That's what Pathways is. My point, though, is we should expand outside of Pathways, kind of look at the world that way. Last time I spoke, I said that I wanted to know 2/3 of the world intimately. I've changed that since the election in 2016. I don't want to know 2/3 of the world intimately. I'm down to, I don't know, maybe 5/9, 5/8. I'm trying to decide, and yeah, it's hard to put an exact number. And I know some people are down to 1 out of 10. But you got to be a little more tolerant than that. At least it's my opinion. Look at people as all potential close people to us. Everybody is potentially close. There's nothing more fascinating to me than another human being. When you think about it, now, are there any scientists here or anyone that, probably people that know this, a stat? But our DNA is so similar. Each person, if you look at it, why is our DNA almost identical? You actually have to really, you have to know what you're doing to tell the difference. We actually are all related when you look at it that way, when you think about it. I remember my anthropology teacher back in college, and she would, it's kind of a cliche, but she would say there's only one race, Homo sapiens sapien. So there's no such thing as racism. If you are a racist, then you hate everybody. And she was right. She was right. When you think about it that way, when you look at it that way, we really are part of one big family. Now, also, take a look at the old story, Adam and Eve. We're all descendants of Adam and Eve, if you believe the story. I've got a lot of problems with that. But it would also explain why our DNA is almost identical, and there are differences. That is never explained through the story, but it's just a concept. And I don't know who said this, where I'm very bad with Scripture, but what Scripture says, if it does, that we're all God's children. Does anyone know where that came from? It's funny, we say it all the time, but I have no clue. I should have Googled it. But that's the same concept. So when you look around, you have a lot of people who really want to say the right thing, so they say, I'm colorblind. Well, that's no good. Because if you're colorblind and you don't notice what's really important, our differences are beautiful. That's what makes everybody special, our differences. We should be embracing that. We should be just hugging each other and noticing the differences. That's where I think the extended family comes in. It takes a lot of work. Now, it's kind of hard in today's environment to embrace everybody. There's a lot of bad stuff going on out there. There's a lot of ugliness. My theory is that just about everybody, there are some exceptions, but just about everybody is good. You have to get to know them. You have to get past that. They have this wall of ugliness in front of them, and you never get to know them. All you see is the political stuff, the anger, the frustration, We all go through tough times. We all go through stress. We all go through, or a lot of us go through health issues. It's life and death. Just all kinds of things get in the way. When we're born, we're all good. Look at little kids. Kids run up to each other. They hug each other. They say, I love you. They don't think about it. They get in fights, but they get out of their system, then they're playing again. We're infected with what, especially now, what we see in the social media. People who normally wouldn't say things now say them because it's easy for them to say them. There's nobody in front of them. It's kind of cowardly. But unfortunately, that distracts from what's really going on. When you think about what's really going on in the world right now, just watch movies, watch TV, watch anything in the media. And it's not hate. It really isn't, unless you listen to the news. Don't do that. I stick with local news, and that's it, because they feed off some nasty stuff. But look at how diverse just our commercials are. When you watch TV, you see mixed couples. Comedies now and drama include gay couples. That never happened before. The fact that we're hearing all this is a good thing. It sounds like things are getting worse because it's broadcast, but people are getting annoyed with that type of hatred. That's why it's broadcast. We need to be aware of it. And just look at how far we've come in just the last 10 years, right? It's really great. It's amazing. We have same-sex marriage. We have more women in the workplace. It's nowhere near where it should be, and pay is not equal. I don't know why. I don't know why they keep voting against that 100%, but that's a different discussion altogether. But all these things are starting to go on, and it's good. The most important thing to do, in my opinion, is to get to know other people. I know I've said this before, but I'm really, really serious about it. And I'm trying. Even people who I disagree with, which is probably 2/3 of the population. I try to get to know what makes them think the way they do. Get to them. Let them get to me. I have friended so many people that I never would have dreamed would be friends of mine. People who are my exact opposites. People who believe totally different from me. It's a little weird now, the politics the way it is. It's like stepping on eggshells. But if you talk to someone enough, they're all potentially part of our world, part of our family. Just have to get to know them. Now, there are some people you need to stand clear of. Actually, there are a lot of them. But they let you know now, especially on social media. You're like, okay, keep that person out of here. Click, unfriend. Click, block. I'm done with it. But give it a few years. Maybe things change in a year or two, and people calm down. I like to keep that hope alive. I'm going to go through a couple of quotes here from religious leaders right now. I would say, to me, two most important are the Dalai Lama, who's very vocal, and also, the Pope, Pope Francis. Pope Francis says, I don't know what he says. I can't read my handwriting. A friend is just an acquaintance you enjoy. No matter. See, I didn't finish that. Uh-oh. I knew I'd screw up. All right, we'll have to skip Pope Francis. I'll Google it while I'm talking. I could do two things at the same time. No matter how strong we may feel, our survival depends on others. That one's important because that is true. Now, survival meaning, food, water, clothing. We need people to make our clothing. We need people to provide water. We're not all hunters, so food. But more important, love. Love is everything. Love is the answer to almost everything. I could think of maybe a few things it's not the answer to, like, will the Giants beat the Cowboys tomorrow night? Love is not the answer to that. There is no, you got to ask your bookie about that one. Okay, another one. To be contented human beings, we need trust and friendship, which tends to develop much better once we realize that all beings have the right to happiness just as we do. That's empathy. That's what I was just talking about also. Getting to know what makes someone tick. Again, everybody is uniquely beautiful. There is unique ugliness, but it's very weak. And it's on the surface, but everyone's uniquely beautiful. Wouldn't you want to get to know as many people as you can? I do. I mean, I know I'm an extrovert, obviously, surprise, surprise. But there are a lot of people out there who just don't like other people. Actually, funny thing, at work, I am in pest control now, of all things. East Coast guy who's afraid of bugs. So I'm getting better at it. But I was telling one of my customers, and it's something I like to say all the time, I hate bugs, but I love people. Well, this guy says, yeah, bugs and I hate people. So I'm thinking to myself, oh, great. And there was silence after that, so he wasn't joking. What do you say after that? Someone who wakes up in the morning thinking that they hate everyone, they're not even trying. Why would you do that? Why would you say that? So I tried making him laugh, and it was all over the phone. Face-to-face, he might not have said that. I don't know what I would have said face-to-face. All right, another one from the Dalai Lama. As social animals, a key factor to our living a happy life is friendship, trust, and openness. We are all the same as members of one human family. We are all God's children. See, there that is again. And that's, that's true. We are social animals. Actually, you look at the animal kingdom, there are a lot more social animals than we even think of. You ever see these videos of, there's one that I remember of this little girl going up to a donkey, depends on what part of the country you're from. And the thing remembered her, and it started wailing, and they hugged each other, and I think they didn't see each other for 10 years. So Tashi's right when he talks about the animal world. They're part of our family too. The animal world is spectacular. I mean, we know dogs and cats because that's what we domesticated, but you could see that in a lot of non-predator type animals. I would not recommend going up to, a tiger or something and saying, hey, let's see how cool this thing is. Glen said that, don't. Okay, and here it is. No wonder. I wrote it 2 different places, the Pope Francis thing. Pope Francis said, a friend is just an acquaintance, someone you enjoy passing the time of day with. Friendship is something much deeper. It is. It's love. It's the soul. It's this closeness that I think we're designed to have. I think we're designed to, if you look across every religion, we're here to help each other. We're here to know each other. We're here to love each other. Yeah, there's a lot of war in the Bible, a lot of killing. It doesn't quite make sense how all that works, but the underlying message all across all these scriptures is to help each other, to love each other, how strong the human soul is, where does our soul go after this life. It's interesting. It really is. You've got people going to heaven, you got other people going on to another life, and then you got the real upbeat, positive people saying you die and that's it, everything's black. Something tells me they're right, but yeah. I just called myself negative. Well, if the shoe fits, right? All right, so let's see. I think I got another quota here too. Oh yeah, this might be my favorite. I defeat my enemies when I make them my friends. Isn't that great? Because it's true. Someone's your enemy until, like I've been saying, until you get to know them. Then they're your friends. I have made friends that way. You know the expression, kill them with kindness? Well, you got someone that's not nice to you. There's a reason why they're like that. Something happened. Maybe they're just miserable people. They got so much going on, illness, fight with their spouse, someone passed away, and you see them, what a horrible person. No. There's a small chance maybe they are, but 90% of the time they're good people going through something bad. So then you're looking at them as your enemy. When you make them your friends, keep your enemies close. Now that's to defeat them. That's not. But when you make friends with people, you let them in. See, I should be writing these things instead of spewing out all this nonsense and kicking water over. But everybody really does have good in them. That's my opinion. And there are exceptions. Just keep away from them. So because we're going to do a little bit more music here, I should probably close this out soon. But really, this is the last time I'm going to talk about this topic. I think it's the third time I spoke about it in Arlington also. And here it had to be before 2016 because I wouldn't have made those comments about wanting to know everybody after that. So it's been a few years. It's why no one remembers. Plus, you're probably half asleep. I don't blame you. But I probably won't discuss this anymore. And I know every time I speak, I kind of mention the same things. It's just it's continuation. I'm not trying to be like some churches where they threaten you every week and say the same thing over and over and over again till you've just started thinking that way. I don't want to say brainwashing. I don't want to insult anyone, but it's kind of the same thing. But I look at it this way. Try and be tolerant. Try and accept people. Embrace them. Always love someone before they change your mind. So, okay. Always love someone before they change your mind. And try and go out with as open of a mind as you can. Go out there with love. Love people. Hug someone. You have a bad day? Just find someone to hug. I don't recommend a random person on the street because you know what could happen there. I'm from New York, and I wouldn't be alive now if I did that back then. But just go have a hug with one of your friends. Come to Pathways. Hug everybody. It makes a difference. And try and understand that other person. Have patience, too. I look at it this way. It's like there's one big party out there. And not everybody is a party goer and a partier. But at the very least, look out the window and give it a thumbs up, smile, and say, this is just my extended family. I just love all these people, and I'm going to celebrate with them one way or another, even if I'm an introvert and it's all from the window like that. All right, so now that's all I got to say. Now we're going to do some more music. And what is our... We should have a name. Now, if not for the young guy here, we'd be... Remember Weezer? We'd be... He's around my age. We'd be Geezer. Or what were we? The local something? Yeah, local. All right, local 481. Or whatever we're called. Let's get my age.
Yeah, this is that song, and everybody's going to join in on this song, but we're going to do this kind of in organic fashion. The choir's going to sing, but they're going to kind of not be up here. And when you feel the Spirit, sing. When you feel the Spirit, you stand up.
Yeah, this is a fun song.
Oh, let's get together, lie down here. Let us get together, lie down here. Let's get together, lie down here. Let us get together, lie down here. Let's get together, lie down here.
you want your phone back?
Yeah, I might need the phone.
There you go. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Glenn. All right, now that we're all warmed up. As we have received, so we are asked to give. Please use the offering envelopes provided. Green envelopes are for pledges or gifts to Pathways. Gold envelopes are for donations to our outreach partner. Our outreach partner for October, November, and December is Meals on Wheels of Tarrant County. This 501c3 not-for-profit charitable organization provides roughly 1 million meals each year to some of Tarrant County's most frail citizens. By providing home-delivered meals, professional case management, and other needed items and services to homebound, elderly, and disabled clients, they enable them to remain living independently in their own homes. Meals are delivered by over 5,000 caring volunteers who freely give of their time and personal resources to ensure that clients receive a nutritious meal. Volunteers contact the Meals on Wheels office if a client does not answer the door. Those daily safety checks provide an added level of reassurance to the clients and their families. We will now receive the offering.
We have an offering song today, and the choir is going to come up, and we're going to... But everybody can join in on this. It's very easy. Oh, love is something you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more. It's just like a magic penny, hold on tight and you don't have any. Then you spend it and you'll have so many, they'll roll all over the floor. Love is something that you'll give it away, give away, give away. Love is something that you give it away, will end up having. Let's do it again. It's just hold on tight and you won't have any. Then you spend it and you'll have so many, they'll roll all over the floor. Oh, love is something if you give it away, give it away, give it away. Love is something if you give it away, you end up having more.
Thank you for your generous gifts, kindly and freely given this morning and by mail throughout the month to support this congregation and our outreach efforts. Your offering is truly appreciated. This week, we're highlighting our behind-the-scenes heroes, the Village People. When you walk into Pathways any day of the week, you can be sure one of these teams has recently been there making sure that the Pathways community has a clean and tidy place to share. Each team has a leader and at least 4 members, splitting the cleaning on alternate Fridays or Saturdays. Thank you all for your hard work. We hope that each of you on your individual path through the joys and questions of life found some common ground with your fellow travelers at Pathways here today. As Glen extinguishes our chalice flame, let us join in these words. As we extinguish this chalice flame, we join for the blessings of autumn, season of the heart's yearning. You usher us into places of mystery, and like the leaves, we fall trustingly into eternal, unseen hands. To all our first-time visitors, welcome. It's not always this lively and crazy, but sometimes we have to let it go. That's good. We like it. If you'd like to learn more about Pathways, stay around after worship and talk with us. We'd love to meet you and give you a hug. Be sure to share our contact information with us at our welcome table in the foyer. If you like, sign up on our website for our weekly e-newsletter to be informed of events coming up at Pathways. There are meetings and events at Pathways throughout the week. Here are just a few along with other announcements. For a full lineup, see Pathways Weekly or the events calendar on our website, pathwaysuu.org. Also take home the order of service sheet on your chairs because it has dates of upcoming events on the announcements slide. A big thank you to our Circle Dinner hosts last night. They were Becky McBurney and Lilibet Wasson. The next Circle Dinners will happen on December 14th. For the month of November, the Pathways Book Club, Women's Book Club, is reading and discussing Educated by Tara Westover, a memoir of the author's fundamentalist Mormon family in Idaho. The book group meets the first and third Thursdays of each month at 1 p.m. at Pathways, and newcomers are always welcome. Mark your calendars for an important date. Steve Brooks returns for a coffee house at Pathways next Saturday, November 9th, from 7 to 9. And I went last year, and if you didn't come, you missed a great evening. Luke has some words he'd like to share about the coffee house.
Yeah, thank you. Man, I love the applause. First of all, Glen, thank you. Great sermon. Good morning, brothers, sisters.
To the mic.
Mike. Can you hear me now? Oh, yes, upstairs. Sorry, guys, gals, brothers, sisters. So some of you are here for Steve Brooks' performance in his sermon last year. He's going to do the same thing again next weekend. Those of you that know Steve Brooks, you know what he's like. He's a punster. He's a musician. He's a poet. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what Steve Brooks told me, and I had to write it down. He's kind of a cross between two famous Brooks, Mel Brooks, the comedian, and Garth Brooks, the musician. And if they had a love child, it would have been Steve Brooks. He's a UU lay minister. I met him in San Marcos about 2.5 years ago. He gave a sermon. I just happened to be there and we're very impressed with what he did and invited him up here. He's talked to about 35 UU churches around Texas. He travels nationally. He's a solo performer. He recently joined up with a 60s folk trio called The Line. He's a really good performer. As an added bonus, and I did this last year, but we're going to do a little get-together at my house after he's done here, so he'll perform here 7 to 9. After he's done, clean up, come over to my house. I live like 3 miles from here. We continue the conversation. I'm just going to tell you we've got to wrap up by 11:30 because I got to go to bed. And he has to go to bed because he's giving the sermon the next day. We've got tickets. I've got tickets. Lynn has tickets. It's a $15 donation recommended, so get tickets from us. First come, first serve. We kind of ride this little narrow window. We want to have enough people here so we make money because this is a fundraiser for us. But we can only seat 60 people in here, so we want to fill it but not overfill it to where we're putting people upstairs. So we've got tickets, again, first come, first serve. And it just in the theme of the music that we were playing today, we're going to continue this next weekend. And I see a Lynn going to say something. What did I forget? She'll tell me. Jump in. Oh, child care.
Yes. So for those of you who have kids and may not be able to get a babysitter, don't worry. We'll have child care services for you. So just come on up. You can always watch it from the upstairs as well if you feel more comfortable being closer to your kids. But Teresa does a great job of taking care of kids. So we don't want you to miss it just because you can't get a babysitter. All right? So please do that. So, but do give us a little bit of a heads up so we know we're going to have kids because we're going to have her here. So if there's nobody who shows up, just let us know. So it's $15 a piece. We just want to get kind of a show of hands. Is anybody interested here? Because we just want to make sure that okay, that's fantastic.
Behind
so
you too.
no. I mean for attending. Yeah. So and tell your friends, and we've got it on Facebook. If I've tried to tag as many people on my group as I could so that you would see the event, and if you want to tag your friends, and that'd be great too. And you know what it's like. We changed the whole atmosphere here. It's really like a coffee house. We'll have wine and beer and food, mostly dips, chips, and cheese and crackers, which we just asked for a donation for. But so we'll have all that as well. We'll also have lemonade and other things too, for non-alcoholic beverages too. But we look forward to having everybody. It really was a lot of fun. It really looked cool the way we set it up. I promise you, very different. You're going to be surprised. So yes. Right now, the two of us, but so just see one of us if you want to prepay. If not, we'll have them in the foyer when you walk in the door. So, yes. 15.
But you can give me 50.
But you can give us 50, yeah.
It goes to the
You
church.
can give us 50. Anyways. No, 15. That's it, yeah. So, yeah, because you're going to eat and drink, I'm sure. Anyways. So that's all I can think of, but really do come. It's a lot of fun, and he's a great guy. So, and by the way, if you don't, Limelighters are kind of like the Kingston Trio, because I remember my brother-in-law, who was much older than us, loved the Kingston Trio, so I'm familiar with it. So the Limelighters really do sound like them, and it's kind of cool. So, all righty, thank you.
Cub Scout Pack 1013 is nearing its second anniversary, and the Scouts are getting older. As they get older, there'll be a need for troops to provide the older age program. Scouts BSA Scouts is the program for the 11 to 17-year-old boys and girls. As we explore how we can start a boy troop and a girl troop, we'd like to know if we have 11 to 17-year-old boys and girls in the Pathways family who are interested in joining the scouting program. A survey was shared on the Pathways Facebook group. Please complete the survey if you have 11 to 17-year-old boys or girls who might be interested in scouting. The Resistance Revival Chorus is now forming. This is a pop-up group of women in white, intent on making an impact at vigils, demonstrations, protests, and anywhere that a voice for justice and humanity should be heard. Rehearsals are every Sunday, 2 to 3 p.m. at Pathways. Like and follow the group on Facebook, Resistance Revival Chorus Fort Worth. Milestones is a time to share our news with our Pathways family. We heard about this last week, but we're repeating it just to make sure everyone got the message. Marissa Broom will perform her senior violin recital on Monday, November 11th at 5:30 p.m. at the UTA Music Building, Irons Recital Hall. And you and we are all invited. And Quincy Harper turned 18 on October 10th. And she's now a registered voter. Quincy became a commended student in the 2020 National Merit Scholarship Program. Commended students represent approximately 2% of the 1.5 million students throughout the nation considered for the 2020 competition based on their exceptional performances in the 2018 preliminary SAT National Merit Qualifying Test. The slide or the person? She can take partial credit, only partial. After we break for coffee and conversation, we continue with our adult discussion groups. Harried Reasoners meets here in the sanctuary. Matthew Tresher will present part 2 of a series, including selections from A Skeptic's Guide to the Universe. This week's topic is cognitive bias. On My Path will meet upstairs in the loft. This is a group for adults to celebrate and deepen their individual spiritual journey. It's open to all seekers from any path and is a safe place to speak your truth in a circle of trust. Visitors and newcomers are welcome and encouraged to attend either of these adult discussion groups. Reading the Bible again for the first time, book group will meet in classroom number 2 for those who are registered. Parents, please pick up your children from the nursery and RE immediately after Common Ground so that all ages can share in the fellowship and food. The nursery will reopen at 11:30 for the adult discussion groups. And now, please stand as you are willing and able and join Michael and the choir in singing our closing hymn, We Are Family.
Living life is fun and we have just begun. I got my sisters and my brothers and me. We for family. Hey, hey, hey. Everybody get up and sing. Our family. My brothers. Our family. Everybody get up and sing.
Our closing words today are by Albert Schweitzer. In everyone's life, at some time, our inner fire goes out. It is then burst into flame by an encounter with another human being. We should all be thankful for those people who rekindle the inner spirit. Blessed be. Go in peace.
Pathetic.
And I was flashing back to us, and you were doing it now.
I lived near there, and I had friends that went.
Five of us got in the car and drove.
All my friends that went, they went there, and I said, "How was it? It sucked. God damn it, rained. It rained.
Wet, muddy, but
They had no idea that it was going to be something like that."
I think, I know. Thank God I had this thing on the space light. You silver on one side, blue on the other. So I had a makeshift kids born room. And one of the guys that went with the black freaked out all the time. He had that football team who liked to play football on ashes. And anyway, he went with us, and one morning, after the night that he was going to be Ronnie said for the first time in the U.S., there he's there when the place was on. People were all crashed out on the ground in the little campfires. So Henry puts his silver side out, cape on, marching solemnly